Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am Eve Richards. Our guest today is actress, writer Krystina Bailey, whose career reflects both creative range and a deep commitment to the craft. But before we start talking to Krystina, I would like to welcome my co-host for today's episode, Tess Broussard. Tess is an actress. She's a writer, model. She does it all. Tess, welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve.
Thank you so much for having me back. I love it here.
Well, so Tess, since we last saw each other, tell us, what have you been up to? I know your daughter recently went to college in Michigan.
Yes. So I'm now an empty nester, and I've been flying back and forth to and from LA to Detroit, of all places. Can you imagine going to Detroit a lot? But you know what? It's really, really pretty there.
Wow.
Ann Arbor is the city that I head to. And, you know, they have apple picking, and it's like in the country. They have a city called Holland that looks like Amsterdam.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. But you know, she's in University of Michigan. Is that
Yeah,
where she goes to?
the Ross
It's a very
Business
good. It's a very good school. So.
Great sports team. She's learned about football.
And is this her? It's her freshman year, correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I think it's wonderful. And just before we start talking to Krystina, how often do you get to travel?
Oh my gosh, I try to go as much as I can. Maybe we see each other like every other month, and I'm telling you, that's a long flight there. It really is.
Well, Tess, welcome. Now turning
Thank
to
you.
our guest. Our guest is Krystina Bailey. She's an actress, writer, and producer whose career reflects both creative range and a deep understanding of the business behind the work. Krystina's screens credit include the Savant, opposite Jessica Chastain, Beyond the Gates, The L Word, Generation Q with Jordan Peele, Weird City, Blue Bloods, and The Family Business. Alongside her work on screen, she has built a career path as a writer and a creator, co-producing a lot of independent films, writing award-recognized work for the stage, and she continues to expand her voice behind the camera. Krystina actually wrote a book, which we'll talk about when we bring her in. And so, Krystina, it is so good to have you with us today. Welcome to the Discovery Pod with Eve.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Eve, for having me. Hi, Tess. I'm just so
Hello.
happy. Hi. Happy New Year. Happy 2026.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. So, Krystina, I'll start with the first question.
Yes.
First of all, I have to say this. Krystina and I met last year with a mutual friend, Rachel Killian, who was a guest during season 1. We met at the varieties party for, I forgot.
Fallout. I think it was Fallout, right?
Was it Fallout or it was the Danny
Yeah.
Glover's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they had a couple of them.
Is it
That
the
one's
Atlant-
Mr. and
Mr.
Mrs. Smith.
So that's where we
Yes.
met. And so Krystina and I immediately just seemed like every time I see her, we just clicked. And so it is so good to have her here. And thanks to Rachel as well, who's actually, a good friend. So you've made some very intentional choices along the way. Leaving home, which is New Jersey, building a career. You studied theater and education at Manhattanville, deepening your understanding of the industry through NYU's business of entertainment program, and eventually turning your experience into something you could share with others. When you were just starting out, what did you hope this life would give you or teach you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Just starting out, I didn't know I'd be an author. I had narrow focus on being an actress. And with that narrow focus, I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed from acting. And so as I continued to grow, as I continued to go to school, as I continued to learn, I found that doing other things like being a creative, like becoming a writer, like consulting actors, like becoming a teacher, because I have a teaching degree, was going to get me to that passion sooner than just waiting on my opportunities. So I'm not someone that said, I mean, I know people put out goals and they're like, at 25, I'm going to be a successful actress. That wasn't what I did. I just kind of followed the course and found new paths along the way. And I feel a lot more fulfilled with those new paths, along with being an actress. And I'm loving the journey.
Good for
So
you.
yeah, it wasn't just a straightforward thing. It was just like learning lots of different things, and then bringing me here to this point. So, and I'm grateful for that.
Good. And I know you're so well respected. Someone who loves your
Oh,
writing is, James, what's his name? James, is it James Kong? James. He
yes.
just,
Hmm.
so every time your name comes up, he just like, oh my goodness. He has nothing but accolades for you and all of your writing that you've done.
I
So,
know James.
of course, you know James from the Hollywood Museum, right?
Yes, yes, I met him there.
He is a big fan of, he just loves Krystina. So.
Yes, and he's so supportive. He shows up. I mean, he's come to like birthday parties. I remember the last like big birthday I threw was in 2020, because I'm January 3rd, so it's at the beginning of the year before
Oh,
the
happy
pandemic.
belated birthday.
Yes, happy
Oh, thank you.
belated.
Oh, thank you guys so
Woohoo.
much. I kind of keep it low key now, but when I used to do like big parties, James was there every single year. So shout out to him. He's just so, so supportive.
That's
Oh.
nice. I want to ask you about your role, like in the Savant, alongside Jessica Chastain.
Yes.
It sounds like so exciting.
Yes.
What was it like stepping into that project, and what drew you to the character of MC?
Yes. So the project hasn't come out yet, and we're hoping that it'll come out very, very soon. And it was an audition process, honestly. A lot of the roles that I have received have been through an audition. I know sometimes people know people, and that's how they get cast, and that's a wonderful way to get cast, because I think it's a little easier if you know someone. But every every role that I've gotten was through an audition. So that audition came through my agent. We actually shot it in, like, I believe it was 2024 at this point. It's been a little bit. It's coming out. I promise
When is
everyone.
it coming
Um,
out?
it was supposed to come out last year, but it kind of got pushed back just due to the nature of the show. The show is about Jessica Chastain. She plays the savant, and she tracks white supremacy hate groups. That is what she does.
Oh,
Wow.
And so there, as you guys know, there was a bit of stir in the country last year. And so they kind of pushed it back a little bit, and we're hoping that it'll come out at some point this year, just to kind of like they're waiting until all the flames kind of like die out and stuff like that. So yeah, but I got that role through an audition, through Zoom. And I'm always prepared for my auditions. I'm always ready for my opportunities. I always study the characters, and make wonderful choices, and I'm always ready for an adjustment. I'm very flexible, because if you can make that adjustment in the audition, you can do the same thing when you're on set. And that's often what the casting director and the director wants to see, that flexibility. So that's how I got that role.
So it's a good segue.
congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
amazing.
Thank you.
It's a good segue into
Oh.
asking
Hmm.
about your book, which I think
Oh,
we talked about as well, which became Amazon's. Yes, there it is.
there it is.
You go,
Actors,
girl.
what you need to know before you move to LA, and then we talked about it. It actually became
Yes.
Amazon's #1, right? So tell
Yes.
us. I mean, as an
Hmm.
actress,
Yes.
obviously you left New Jersey and you moved to LA. You had to navigate this very complex industry, and you have a lot of like institutional knowledge. And tell us about the book and why you decided to write the book. I mean, it's a very, very good tool for a lot of actors, but just so more
Yes.
people get to know about it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I became the goat, right? So I'm a Capricorn. I told you guys I'm a Capricorn. It's the goat of the zodiac sign. And people started to see my success in the industry and would ask me how I was obtaining my goals. And I told them, one day when I get some time, I'm going to write it in a book. And the pandemic hit, and I had time, so I wrote the book. And I just put my feedback. My book is all about my experience as an actor, and these are things that you can try to see if they'll work. I'm not guaranteeing everything that I did will happen for other people, but I felt the need to share my experience with others just to help others learn what it took and what it takes. And also this book is for family members as well who have, you know, children and sisters and aunts and uncles in the industry, and they're just like, they keep hearing no. Why do they keep going at it? I don't understand. Well, it's in this book, you know, it's the passion, it's the drive, it's why we're here. So that was why I wrote it. I had a lot of people coming to me asking about the industry and how I was succeeding. I wrote the book, and yes, in its first week of selling, it shot to #1 on Amazon in the performing arts category, because it's like it's a self-help book that people want to know. Like it's a hungry read. People want to know what it takes to be an actor and what it takes to move to LA, and, you know, the ups and the downs and what I should do and what I shouldn't do.
That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
You know, something that I'll add to that you just mentioned as
Yes.
well, that people should know this. This is based on your experience. It's a self-help book, it's a guide, but it's all based on your experience. And everyone's
100%.
experience is totally different. But what you've done is you've been able to write about it so it can help others as well. So anyone reading the book should not come with the assumption that, oh, because this is what Krystina went through, I'll go through. Everyone experiences something different, but it's a wonderful tool for someone to add to their toolbox.
Yes, that's the #1 thing that I tell people. They're like, "Well, what should I know before moving to LA?" I say, never compare yourself to anybody else's journey, because we are all different.
Yes, it's the
Everyone
truth.
has their
Yeah.
own story, right, Eve? Right,
Yes.
Tess?
Wait, yeah, is
You
that
know?
mine was like completely different. I didn't even know what to expect when I came here because I came from the South in Texas. So
Yes.
it's very different. It's very
For
slow out
everybody.
there.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different perspective. It's not all cookie cutter. And yeah, wait, so what do you say is the best tip that worked for you that you can tell everybody and share with us about your book?
Yes, yes. Well, one of the best tips is to not compare myself to other people's journey. That is, oh, I find it happening a lot with myself, with other actors. You're always, because the acting journey is just not a steady path, right? You could have someone, right? Like my nephew's starting to be an actor. He could jump and become a, you know, successful film actor before me, and my mom's looking at me like, "Well, what, you've been doing this for this 20 years. He gets to just jump over you." And, you know, and it's just like, that's how, right, Eve? It's just the way that it goes, right? So it's important. You could prep, you can do all your homework, but somebody may get that opportunity before you, but then they may come to a still, and you may get a different opportunity and be in 3 films, you know? So that is the most important thing, I think, is that everybody's journey is different, and to not compare yourself to other people's journeys, because you just never know. This is not a straight path. And
I
that's in chapter 1.
I like, you know, I really, really like that. And I love when we have conversations with actors and actresses and you're so transparent, so candid. I'll give you an example. Last week, we had a conversation with a filmmaker who started it's called the Da Vinci International Film Festival. He went to Harvard, majored in, you know, theater arts, and you would think, you know, it would be easy because he went to Harvard. And you know what he said, which I really think a lot of people would find that very, not weird, but he said he doesn't watch any of the major awards. Not because he doesn't want to, but because when you watch someone else, you start comparing and you're asking yourself, but why not me?
Yes.
And he's very
Absolutely.
happy for all of those people, right? So I think
Yes.
what you've said is the most important thing about your story that I really like is the fact that you left New Jersey, you had a dream, and you came here,
Yes.
and here you are. You've worked with people who are like industry giants, Jessica
Yes.
Chastain, Jordan Peele.
Yes.
So looking
Yes.
back at your time on set with this acclaimed actors, how did that help you in terms of the way you approach the craft?
Yes. Yes, I always am learning, right? So because I have a theater degree, I went to school for theater and education. I double majored. I know how to act on a stage like nobody's business, okay? Give me an August Wilson script, I will kill it. Now, film and television isn't what I studied in school. And so I had a learning curve. I had to learn how to not be as big, when I'm doing my tapes or doing film and all that, and just kind of like tone it down. Still be there, still act, be present, but just tone it down. So whenever I'm on set working with Jessica Chastain or Laverne Cox, who I've had the honor to work with, or Sarah Gilbert, who is incredible, or being on a Jordan Peele project where he's producing, I'm always learning, right? I'm learning from the best. I'm learning from the experts. I am taking in what they're doing and how they act and how they treat people on set and what they do, so that when I'm in that position, I know exactly what to do. That is the biggest thing that I do when I'm on set working with these actors. I'm learning, I'm paying attention, and I'm taking notes.
I
That's
like
smart.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like you've worked on such a wide range of procedurals, like from TV shows to movies and like Jordan Peele's to Weird City and um, Jessica Chastain's Apple TV show. And like, how do you approach switching between genres and so seamlessly?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. Oh, thank you, Tess.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was a great one too. Because we're going to go back to the theater training, I learned how to do dramas and I learned how to do comedies, right? That is what I learned. So I can do both. Oftentimes, when I'm pitching myself or when my representation is pitching me, they're like, well, what does she just do like one? I mean, and they're like, no, she's a chameleon. You throw her into that world and watch her transform. That is literally on like my Actress Access bio. I love doing both. I've found that for me personally, drama does come easier for me because I just kind of live in the space of what's happening. Comedy to make people laugh is a little bit more
Wow.
challenging. Oh yeah,
She's a
yeah.
Tess is a comedian as well.
See, now, Tess, isn't it challenging to make people laugh? I mean, you don't know if you're going to get that reaction
Well,
from
if you're
them.
trying to
What do you
make them laugh, I think that's hard. But I think if you
see?
come from authentic self,
Authentic.
and I've
Yes.
always, like, I'm very sensitive, and you would think,
Hmm.
like, I'm not funny, but, like, I don't know. I have something innate, and
Yeah.
people just laugh when I don't even try to make them laugh.
I love that. See, there it
See?
is right there. Yeah, it's innate. And that's the same thing with the drama too. That one's innate for me as well. So, that's why I can kind of shift back and forth between both genres because, I'm always coming from a truthful place, like you said, Tess.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Hmm.
tell us, what are you
Yeah.
currently working on?
Yes, yes. So I last year at the end of the year, I launched my consulting business for actors.
Ooh,
Yes.
tell us
Congratulations.
Thank
more.
you.
That's fantastic. Tell us about
Thank
it.
you. Yes. So people needed more than just the book. The book is great. It does well. Actually, I found out yesterday that the last bookstore in Studio City, it has one copy left of my book, which I'm like,
Wow, that's
wow,
fantastic.
they're
Wait,
going to
what
call me
bookstore
when
is
that one
this in
has
Studio
sold out.
City?
Yeah, it's called The Last Bookstore and it's
The
in
last
Studio City. They
bookstore.
have one, yeah, they have one downtown too, but
Yes,
this
I've
one's
been to the
the
one
newest.
downtown.
Is it like a
Yes.
Samuel French? Because that's no
Yes,
longer.
yeah, it's sort well, it's not just drama books, it's actually all books at the bookstore, but there is a drama section and they have a local author section, and that's where my book is sitting, and there's one copy left. So the book, you can still get it on Amazon, you can still get it through my website, but the consulting, I found that people wanted to have one-on-ones with me, and really either through coffee or through, I have it all set up on my website through Zoom. I look at people's materials and I see how I can help. A lot of times it's cleaning things up. It's a lot of times actors having everything in order, but like not having it all in one place for casting to find. Like they'll have a profile here and they'll have a short film over there. And I'm like, let's bring this together so that it's easy for everyone to just click on everything. So it's the same thing, continuing to use my expertise and things that I've done that have worked for me to help others. And that has been very, very successful and rewarding as well. I'm like, it really makes me incredibly happy to help
That's
other actors.
that's wonderful. That's one of the things I really connected with you. And I think also what I liked about your journey is you also try to do a regular job when you can. And I know that helps to keep, no, it keeps you mentally balanced, right?
That
Because
too.
you know what? Acting is a temporary job and people don't get that. Because
Right.
one
Yeah,
minute you're working and the next minute you're not.
Yeah.
So I think it's,
absolutely.
when you told me about that, I thought it was
Yeah.
fantastic. We talked about it. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember, and actually, that's chapter 2 of my book is side hustles, side jobs. You're right. It keeps you sane. You get to be around, people that aren't in acting. You get to talk about life that's not
You
related to the
learn more
industry.
things, not just,
You learn more things.
it's not like
Exactly.
telescopic.
Right, right. Because it is hard sometimes to come off a set with such big stars, right? Working with an Academy Award winning actress and then going back to work the next week is
Well,
hard.
speaking about that, talking about entertainment and actors, you're married to an actor named, what's his name? Max Brower.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
And if I can say this, I'm sorry if I can say he's a very good looking guy.
oh, he is?
Oh,
Okay, I'm sure.
he really is.
Yes.
Is
He's
he
got-
there?
He's got this. Seriously,
Yeah.
I've seen it. I saw him, and he really looks good. Both of them look
Yes.
so good together.
Oh, thank you, Eve. He's tall, dark, and handsome. You can
Oh.
manifest it. Manifestation is real.
Oh my God. Okay, well, you should have heard the other guy that we were interviewing. He says manifestation is not real. What did he say?
Oh,
Yeah, it was
what did he say? What did he say? He said it's
Indigenous-
not
He's
real.
got a science background, so we
Yeah, he's
can't
very
compare
science,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah, this is different. But your manifestation happened.
Yeah, so your husband's name is Max Brower, and then you
Yes.
also have a mother-in-law, and she's a Tony Award-winning uh,
Yes.
actress named
Yes.
Tanya Pankins. So tell me, what is one piece of invaluable advice that you learned from the family that you can share with us in the
Yeah,
business?
absolutely. What I love about my
Or a
husband's
few
family,
tips.
yeah, a few tips. Yeah, we got time.
Bring it on.
What what I love about my husband's family is that they're all creatives, right? Like even my husband's father has an Emmy Award because he used to do audio for soap operas back in the
Wow.
day, and he won an Emmy for the sound. Yeah, with the score.
So
I think it was
cool.
called Another World was the soap opera that
I
he
saw
and
that.
Passions. Right, he used to work on Passions too. So it's like, and then his cousin also has like an Emmy Award. I mean, you go to their house and you're just like, man, I feel inspired. I can do this too. And so I come from a family where nobody was interested in the arts or entertainment really. So just being around, my mother-in-law who has accomplished, I'm like, look, if she's the only one, like if she gets the Tony Award and we can all just be like, hey, we have a Tony Award winner in the family, I am happy to know that I have a Tony Award winning actress in the family. It's just so inspiring to know that side of the family and see what they have accomplished because it's just an example that I can do it as well. And my husband's father is a Black woman. I'm a Black woman, and this has shown me that I can do that as well, which it is harder for us. And so it's just incredibly inspiring.
I think
his
all
family,
minorities.
all of them.
All
Oh yeah,
minorities.
not just
Exactly.
yes, all
Yes.
minorities. I think it's a lot harder. But
Yes.
there you are out there doing it, and here you are. You've got this consultant business. I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yes,
that
stick
you
into your
have-
knitting,
you.
though.
and helping,
Smart.
and the fact that you're trying to pay it forward. And so I'm going to ask you this then: when you were younger,
Yeah.
how did you have that, like, did you all have a mentor, or just, I always ask, how did you get started? Like, what
Yeah.
motivated you to become an act? Well, you're a creative because you do writing, you do it all, producing. So what
Yes.
motivated you to get into this very competitive, tough, stressful, what else can I use to describe it? To get into this-
Anxiety-ridden.
Yes, to get into this industry.
Man, if I knew it was all those things, I don't know if I would have gotten into it.
Oh, well, we should be about it. Glad we're talking about it now, not before.
Right, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. I love this career. I love the ups and downs that come along with it. It's just like no other career. Like I said, it was more of my focus being an actor. I used to do church plays. And there was this one time they were doing the nativity story, which is the story of Jesus Christ, and there was a wise woman, and I really wanted to audition, and I never raised my hand. I was really shy. I was like 7. I didn't raise my hand, and they cast somebody else, and I just knew in my heart that like I could have done that role way better than her. She was good. I'm not gonna lie. But I knew I could have done a better job than her. And after that experience at 7, I said to myself, I'm never going to not raise my hand again. And that is when the acting bug bit me, and then from there it was takeoff time. I just think I'm a natural born leader, even though I'm one of 4 girls. I'm not the oldest, I'm not the youngest, I'm like the second youngest slash third oldest, but it's just my personality that I'm just a natural born leader. So I think all the other things that I accomplished besides acting just came along with the journey. And honestly, I didn't know that I was going to do the other things as well, but it was just like a magnet. Like these things started coming to me. I said yes, because I'm a leader, and now I'm at where I'm at. But the focus originally was acting, and then I discovered that I had so many other talents.
I really
than
like
just
that story. I'm going
Yeah.
to say one thing. I'll add to that.
Yes.
What you just shared is you said you were shy at 7. And look at that you turned this into something bigger. I mean, I think it's such a great lesson for everybody who's going to listen to this, that
Yes.
you could turn something into you had a much bigger purpose in life. And it's such a
Yes.
great story.
Yeah,
Thank you
it
for
sounds
sharing.
like you helped,
Of course.
this acting helped you cope with shyness too.
Yeah.
Yes.
What,
Yes.
what I want to talk about, you've been saying yes, yes. Let's talk about no for a second.
Ooh. Yes. So let's say no.
Was there a time when there was a no or a rejection that later turned out to be a gift in disguise?
That's a great, I mean, as an actor, we're always hearing no, as you guys know, with auditions, with roles. Um, actually, yes, I have a no. So Beyond the Gates, which is the soap opera that I'm on CBS, I play nurse number 2.
Okay.
Um, I really wanted to be on that show. When I found out that they were going to bring back a soap opera, predominantly African American cast, I was like, wow, this is my opportunity. So I, poked my manager, my agents, everybody, and finally I got an offer to audition for the series regular role on the show. And I didn't get that. That was a no, and I was heartbroken. And then a couple of months later, I got a notification to audition for a guest star role, and I put my heart and soul into that one. And then that was a no. And I one more time again, it came back around to do one of the nurse roles, and that was the yes. So I have heard no, and I've persisted and continued to do great work. I wasn't discouraged by that first no, even though I really wanted that role. I wasn't discouraged by the second one, and then as I continued on, I finally got that yes, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. It just took me being right for that role. So I hear no all the time, but I don't let it discourage me, because there are so many things that are out of our control as actors. And if you hang in there, I always say, this is in my book, you will get your opportunities.
Let me
So
ask
I
you,
did.
on these auditions, and you're working so hard on these roles because you've
Yes,
had so much experience with being a theater major, so it goes back a long ways.
it does.
Do you need somebody to coach you, or do you just do this on your own? Or are you like
Yeah.
good enough where like been doing this for so long that you don't need that feedback? You got this on your own.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. During the pandemic, right before the pandemic, when we transferred to self tapes, because I used to go in person all the time. In person was different. I could just go in, get a redirect if needed. I needed to change the way that I was auditioning. And so I worked with an acting coach for a couple of years. His name is Ransford Doherty. He was on True Crimes, and he did like 81 episodes of it. He's just fantastic. I met him through this SAG-AFTRA, and I started taking classes with him, and he changed the game for me. He taught me how to kind of get off book a lot faster, because you got like 24 to 48 hours to get off book. I was doing play stuff. With plays, you guys know you have like 3 months to learn the lines. With film and TV, it's like one night. So I did work with him for a while and learned his technique, and now I don't even hit him up anymore, because I've learned his technique, and it has really helped me. I just did a self tape the other day, and my friend was like, Krystina, it was one of the best auditions I've ever seen you do. I didn't coach. I did that myself because I've learned how his method, and it works for me.
That's a great advice. And I think
Yeah.
you shared so many great learnings. I think I'm going to go back to, Beyond the Gates as well.
Yes.
One of the things that you just talked about was never giving up, right? Because you auditioned for them 3 times. And the third
Yeah.
time was the role that you finally, a lot of people would have said, you know what? I can't handle this rejection. So the key that from this is you believed in yourself, you believed in your ability, you believed in the fact this is what you wanted, and you never ever gave up. So I think there are a lot of people who are going to be like, I want to move to LA or wherever to pursue acting. What advice would you give anyone who is trying to navigate this industry? I mean, people are always at different
Yes.
phases in their acting journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the biggest lessons that I learned when I moved to LA from New York, New Jersey, was that I needed to grow up, right? So I was 25 when I moved here. I thought I could just come to this town and run this town, right? I was from New York. I knew how to do everything. I'm fast. I'm this. I'm that, right? Right? Because you were saying, Tess, where you came from, it wasn't as fast paced as like New York City, right?
Oh
It's a different. It
no,
was
heavens
right.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, different pace. Different places have different paces, right? So I moved here thinking I could just, taxi ride it here, do this, do that, and I had to learn a lot. I had to learn how to grow up. I had to learn how to, get a car and pay my bills, which is what Eve brought up before with the job. I had to learn how to, in New Jersey, we don't pump our gas tank. We just, there's an attendant that does it, but here you gotta like
Really?
you gotta get out and do it yourself. I'm still terrible at it, by the way. The lock is just like, it doesn't, okay. But I had to
You
learn,
guys are spoiled out
um,
there in New Jersey.
I know New Jersey and Oregon are the two places that they're and sometimes in certain places in New York they'll do it too. But anyway, I had to learn how to become an adult and to grow up and to feed and take care of myself while also pursuing a career. So anybody that is moving anywhere in the country, whether you're from California, you're moving to New York or wherever you're going, I think it's important to get to where you're going, like go to the beach or whatever's around you, get to know your environment, learn where you're at before you just hustle bustle and try to get to the top. I think it's really important to take a step back, appreciate how far you've come, and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, and really get to know where you are before you just try to like get to the top.
I love that. Such great advice for a lot of actors. And I hope a lot of people get to listen to this because, I mean, you are just fantastic with everything that you
All
said.
these great tips.
You know what? One thing that I want to go back to, because it's,
Yes.
top of mind, is what you just talked about. And it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people would think, oh, because you've been in something with Jessica Chastain, or you've been in a Jordan Peele, something that he produced, you're going to get immediate fame or you're going to get work. It doesn't work like that because you go through the highs and then the lows, right? So you can go
Right.
through having this high and then you go through a very dry spell.
Exactly. And then sometimes you could be on a high for years. I know I have a friend of mine who was a series regular 4 times back to back and now is not. And what does that look like, right? What does life look like on the off, when you're not on the high? And it's important to have that stability and have, like I have family, I have friends, I have like
Business
Eve and now
world,
Tess.
right?
Yes,
You
exactly.
have the business world.
That's
We
right.
do. We have community, and I have a job that I can, talk to people not about the industry, and just have life. So I think it's also important to live your life as we do this journey, so that you're happy. You don't want life to pass you by,
So, you
right?
know what? So I'm going to ask you a quick question about work.
Hmm.
Do you
Yes.
think because you are an actress, you are a producer, you're a writer, and where you're working, are people intimate? Because people have this fantasy about actors, and they immediately think, "Oh, you're very rich. Why are you doing this job?" So,
Yeah.
is there this perception? I don't want to use the word stigma;
Hmm.
it's not the right word. But people always think, "But why do you need this? You're a movie star. You're an actress." People do not understand the grind.
They don't understand the grind. I'm fortunate enough. I feel like in Los Angeles too, more than New York, they kind of get it a little bit more. There are more actors out here, so they're kind of like, okay, yeah, I have a cousin that does what you do, who she's on set, but then she's also got her job. I get it, I get it. So they kind of in this town, it's
They're looking
definitely
for the
different.
fame, I think. That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like to me. If you're not really
yes.
into the craft, you're really into the fame.
Right. And
attention.
most of us, we're not into the fame. We're in it for the craft and the love of it and to help people experience catharsis and all these beautiful things. So yeah, in New York, I would say people were kind of like, what are you like? Yeah, are you doing this? Are you doing that? But in LA, I feel like people are a little bit more understanding of, the hustle, the side job, because yeah, the truth is when you're not on set, how are you making money? Everybody's different. You cannot make money, but I love money. So
Uber,
I always
Uber,
have
yeah.
a job.
Uber Eats, Uber driver.
No,
I love money,
Christina
I
has
mean,
a business job, which is great. So,
Well,
yes.
what do you hope that your fans take away from watching you, at your work? Like,
Yeah.
what do you hope, like, they take
Yes.
away?
I'm very transparent, right, with who I am and what I do, and sometimes I have a job and sometimes I book a national commercial and I don't have a job. So I want everyone to know that I think the more transparent you can be, the more people will relate to you, right? So if I can be honest with people about, yeah, I worked with celebrities, but I also work a job, they know that they can do that too. They know that, okay, cool, like I could be on a set and do great work. And then also I could have a job too and make money and consistently pay my rent and my bills. And that's okay. And I can talk about that with people and it doesn't have to be a secret. I'm all about debunking the myths and the overnight success stuff. That stuff doesn't exist overnight
it
You are
success.
so
doesn't.
real. She is so real.
No, and that's one of the things that I couldn't when I connected with Christina. I was like, oh my God, she's just so real. Because the truth of the matter is, we were at that party. You remember the one I'm talking about, and
Yes, I do.
there are people there with egos. I'm not gonna name names.
Oh,
And
that's
there,
almost
They're
this whole
always
town.
they're at
there are
every
people
party.
there who had big egos, wanted you to know I'm in this, I'm in that. Which Christina is just very, very real. And I think, as you said it, the most important thing is being very grounded. Just being as authentic as you can, and that's all you can do, because you also do some lifestyle as well. You do yoga and all of those. Speak to us about that as well.
Yes. I'm also an influencer. And that kind of came to me just through my social media. People started reaching out and being like, we'd like her to be our spokesperson for our fitness wear or our teeth whitening brand or, our eyelash mascara growth, serum. And I said yes, because I like to say yes a lot. and and
Wow.
also I also do things that are aligned with my brand as an actress, right? So the lashes, that's in line with that, fitness, active lifestyle, all those things, because celebrities do this as well, right? I'm just getting myself in alignment, watching what others do and seeing what I like to do, and so then when
Gaining
those opportunities
exposure.
Well,
come,
you
right,
are a
exactly, I know how
celebrity.
to do it.
You are a
Oh,
celebrity. So Roger
thank
is actually
you.
having the 3-minute mark.
Oh,
Oh, it went by so
oh,
quickly. But the last
so
question I'd
good.
ask is, if you were to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it
Ooh.
be and why?
Oh my goodness. So I love Viola Davis. I think she is, I just read her book and she is just everything to me. She reminds me of myself. She went to school for theater. She has broken the mold. She has done all different types of work. She is definitely top. I'd love to have dinner with her. I always say Jesus Christ. I just feel like he would have a lot to say.
Yeah.
I kind of want his perspective on things, and how things will go and where they've been, as well as William Shakespeare. I feel like
Wow.
that conversation with all three of them and me, oh my goodness, would be so, I just want the tea, it'd be uplifting, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
fulfilling. I'd leave full. I wouldn't
Uh,
even eat the meal. I'd leave full from what they all had to say. So
Christina,
I love a good Shakespeare.
this has
Uh-huh.
been amazing. Thank you so much for your honesty, being
Always.
authentic, and just sharing the wisdom. And I hope a lot of people, besides actors, get to watch this, because it's so, so inspirational and
You're
insightful.
so
Tess,
helpful. Yes.
yeah, I mean,
So helpful.
of,
Thank you. And thank
Thank you
you.
of
both.
course, Roger.
And this,
Roger,
uh-huh.
thank you for
Thank you,
producing.
Roger.
Thank you,
Sure.
Roger.
Thank you for being behind the cameras. And Christina, again, thank you so much. I'll see you next season. You'd come and you'd be a co-host. Would love to have you
Oh,
co-host with us. Ladies and
can't
gentlemen, please remember to watch this very inspirational episode with Krystina on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you could listen on any of the podcast platforms. Again, stop by next Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. You never know who's going to stop by. Until then, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Krystina. Hope to see you soon.
Bye.
I'll see you
Bye.
soon. Great to meet you too, Tess.